breathe. Listen to the radio all morning, talk on the scaffold, oh, blimey. Just, I'm going to take 5 and thought I'll explain a few things. Seen a few videos lately of people posting stuff and that, and I get it, you know, but their lack of knowledge and education of my motherland really surprises me. So I'm going to drop a few facts in today, interesting ones, and wait for the last one because you're going to love it. Right, first one, if you want to talk about religion, that I don't think you should do in politics, and you should certainly not use God's name to platform. What you should be doing is promoting good values and solutions of the current increase in living wage, living expenses, etc. But anyway, so I'm going to go for it. The original religion of this country wasn't Christianity. It was paganism. It dates back to the Britons. The Britons were pagan. In fact, we had a touch of Christianity when the Romans invaded. That was only through their soldiers. Very little practice. It was the Britons and the Celts that were pagan. In fact, when the Romans run out and the Anglo-Saxons come in, they brought in Germanic paganism. So again, it was still pagan. And eventually, Christianity picked up and really wasn't the informed religion until around about the 8th or 9th century. So those patriots running around, you get your facts right. I mean, I myself am Christian. I don't preach to people. I go to church most Sundays. I say most Sundays because the odd Sunday I can't get there. It's just life, family, issues, work, etc. You know, but I don't preach my faith. I don't think you should preach a faith to a platform in politics, you know. Not at all. You shouldn't ram it down people's throats. What you should do is be talking about solutions on the cost of living, the house and immigration, etc. All the relative subjects to the working class. That's what I think. What makes me laugh about Christianity is Henry VIII, a legend. Henry VIII was a stern Catholic, but because the Pope refused the divorce of his marriage, he then left and set up his own church in England, head of church in England, and he manipulated the Christian faith to suit his own narrative, you know, and to marriage several times. And the thing that every what I like, if you go to any pub, any guest house, not any, but there's quite a lot, selected, especially around in Kent, because he always used to stop off and have a beer or stay the night when he was hunting. And you'll see a sign, Henry VIII once stayed here, Henry VIII once drunk here, Henry VIII's bar. And he's got some bars, so he must spend a lot of time hunting. But Henry VIII wasn't just famous for his wives. Henry VIII really built the first brick home. All homes were defences and fortresses and castles, really. Defence mechanisms, you know. And he was the first one to build a brick home. So really, he's famous for the invention of actual homes. So, if you know more, drop in the comments. I love learning. You know, I love conversations. But you'd think one of this knowledge that I just told you would have been of a true nationalist, you know, a patriotic person. But it's like a circus at the minute. Anyway, my next point. Speaker's Corner, ladies and gentlemen, in Hyde Park, London. Speaker's Corner really started around about 1850, 1860. And it wasn't for religion purpose. Speaker's Corner was used for debate. It was scientists going over new formulas, and they would open up and tell people their formula, and people would question it, offer solutions and debate it. Inventors would go there with new inventions, new blueprints. Doctors would talk about surgery. It was all an open debate. People talking about life, voting, government. It was all debating. Religion, you had the odd preacher there who would have been Christian. But religiously, all this preaching, what you see now, didn't come in because there was no other religions here. Simple. There was no other religions here. Not until the first wave, which was the Windrush, and then obviously the Indians and the Pakistanis. So you didn't really get cross-faith examinations and debates, descendants of them, up into the late 90s. It's only been a trend the last upped it really to 15, 20 years because there was simply no other religions to discuss. So I watched a video the other day, and then the guy didn't even know the history of where he stood and spoke. And I thought, you're doing a good job, brother, but come on, know where you're standing, know your heritage. You know? My next point, my next fact, is I've read some of the comments and stuff, and people asking questions. I will not name any of my enemies because it will only give them honour. But I don't like race traitors or people compromise my English identity. Simple. And then going on to my last one, I'm going now for a club sandwich. Traditional club sandwich. Do you know what that means? Chicken, lettuce, under bacon. There you go. Club sandwich. Save the best to last. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for all your support. Thanks for all the likes. I love you. God bless you. God bless me. God bless this motherland. And I hope some more work comes in because we're a little bit quiet at the minute. Be safe.